Okay, so let's start looking at UVing. So what I want to just double check first is I've got some shading issues coming on here. It may be from the fact that this is all pinching into the middle. Just want to make sure that that is flat first of all. But yeah, we've still got some of that going on. So what I might do with this corner is just weld those in like that. I think I can get away with it. Just lower those counts a bit more. But also I feel like these faces can't be perfectly straight with each other. So I'm going to just take that and then just scale those in together. Still giving me that. So I'm just going to select all the faces. Surfaces, mesh display, average. Mesh display, set to face. And then select all my faces and shift right click. No, sorry, just control. No, it is shift right click. Face normal. Edges is what I want. Sorry, select all my edges, shift right click, soften and hard, soften and harden. And then that will just go on the angles and soften all the edges that are X amount of degree and harden the ones. So that's better. So I just wanted to make sure that's fixed up so I don't get any bake errors. And yeah, that's UV. So we've already kind of got our sections split up nicely. So it's a good place to start. But before I do, I just want to double check that I've got, this is now my new low poly. So I don't think there's nothing in there because we've all transferred it out. So I can delete that and then just call this my new low poly. Just, okay. Rad load. So I can turn that on. I just want to turn on my high poly so it looks as though it all fits nicely. So I'm okay with that. There's nothing that's particularly standing out for me. And now I just want to kind of come through and UV this. So I'm going to go into my UV tab here. If you haven't got this set up already, you can select the two panes on this left side here. Go to panels on the left view, perspective and perspective. So we just make this our perspective view from now. And then we come over here and we go to panels, and then down the bottom, UV editor. And then if we go to tools, we can then see show UV toolkit, or in my case it's hide because I've already got it open and I've got it stacked on the right hand side there. This is my preferred UV kind of setup for a single monitor. And then I would right click, go to save current layout, label it UV, cancel, because I've already got it, and then right click again and then select UV, and that will change that to this setting, which will then become its default. So it just makes it a little easier. Anyway, UVing. The first thing that I like to do when UVing is to create some new UVs. So I'll just come in and hit create, and then I'll either do camera based or planar based, doesn't really matter. I'm just going to do camera based for now. And what that does is it takes a UV snapshot of our item from the camera angle. Now, looking at this, there's a lot of hard white lines, but that's because each hard white line should represent an edge. So I've got those edges around the sides there. And if there are any hard white lines where there shouldn't be a cut or like an edge end, if that makes sense. So if we come in here where that geometry just sort of finishes, we should have that white cut, which we do. So that's kind of what I want to look at. Let me just turn off this for a second because I want to make sure that we've got everything. So yeah, I've got no issues with the mesh that we can see of at the moment. That's normally an important kind of giveaway when you first create UVs, that there'll be, for example, if this edge here was a thick white line, then that means that it's not connected properly, and that's a problem. So now we've got that, and the way in which that I've created it, we've got 1, 2, 3, it's all separate meshes. So I can take, and I've only UV'd this main body at the moment, I can take these apart by selecting the faces, or right click in my UV pane and go to UV shell and select that. So we've got these faces now, and now what we want to do is basically unfold it, unwrap them into a 2D 0 to 1 space. So with this front, I'm going to select that pane there, and I'm going to come to planar map. I'm going to left click. Left click, you'll see it's projecting from the X axis there, which is not ideal because it's not the right axis that we want to be looking at. So I'm going to come back and press left click, or right click, sorry, and then it projects from the front. Now you'll notice that mine stays in relative size to the actual object, and that's because if I just right click on this, shift click, you get the option box, and I've got this keep image width height ratio turned on. If that is off and I apply, then it squeezes it into the box rather than actual size to that you want it. So keep width height ratio on, hit project, and then on here the shortcut is just a right cut there. Now there'll be a bit of stretching at the top where it's stretching over and inside. So what I want to do from here is just come in, and I'm just going to help it relax a little bit, I'm going to take that edge on the corner. And again, like with all of this, I could just UV half and then flip it. Although I have found errors sometimes when doing that. So I personally prefer not to. So that, and then shift right click and cut. And then you'll see now that that's got a thick white line. You'll see a thick white line on there. So by cutting that, that's going to allow this just to fold out that a little bit more natural. So if I just come in here, space to full screen, and what I will do is just hit the unfold, but I'll do this on here first. If I go to unfold and just hit unfold, it kind of shifts it and it moves it a little bit, and I don't know, less control. Whereas if I go shift right click and unfold, and then I go along the V and then the U, it tends just to kind of hold its shape a little bit better. And then we've got there. The only thing that I'm not liking is that that's kind of bowed up a little bit on there. So we'll see, and that's gone a little bit messy as well. So we'll come in and have a little look and see if we can sort of fix it. So what I want to do is select that edge. Which edge is that? No, not necessarily that one. I want that one, and I might cut that out as well. So we've got that there, and then I'm going to unfold this out from that point, and then I'm going to try this again without that. Yeah, see, it's better, but not spot on. So what I am going to do, how do I do it? Yeah, okay, so if I just hit the unfold, and this time it's actually keeping it straighter than what I had it a moment ago. So that's what I wanted. The other way that I was doing it for this one and occasion's not working as well as it normally does. But it's put it on the wonk slightly. So I'm just going to go straight and shell. It's doing its best. Let's just get it roughly into position. It's really not enjoying that, is it? So I want to keep it straight. Because if it's not, then it will cause issues with baking in terms of the anti-aliasing. So you want to keep it bang on, sort of straight whenever possible. So, and it's still not, but can do the straighten UVs, but is that merging any together? Only I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then the curves. Where are you? UVs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then the curves. So that's okay, but you'll notice though that there's now some stretching. whereas like that there isn't. So it's about that kind of balance, but it's annoying that it's doing that. Let's see if I've got any of the no. What are you? It's my gizmo. I was like, what is that? I think that is straight enough. It'll do for now. I can come in and just like select my things there and use these align things, so I can just snap that down to straighten it and do that throughout all the edges. But it's close enough for me. So and it's looking okay on there. So I'm alright. I'm just gonna sort of be done, be happy with that, and be okay. And then again, I'm just gonna come to the back and I'll just take my faces, left click, right click. There we go. It's the right click that I want. I'm gonna shrink my gizmo again with the minus button. And you'll see that at the moment it's red, so it's facing the wrong way around because it's projected from that, but it's capturing the back first. So I'm going to come to my transform and flip. So then it goes blue. And then I want to cut the same corners, and you can do it in a 3D view as well. I can go to UV, 3D cut and sew tool, and then I can double click, hold on, right click, component and edge. I can double click on that edge, and then it will just cut in the 3D view. So this can be easier to work with because it helps you visualize how you're going to cut this apart. Hit Q to quit out of that tool, and then I'm going to come in here, UVs, and then I'm going to just do that unfold again because it seemed to work better, which rarely happens. And then so that is okay, and I'm happy that that is done. Just bear in mind that with the 3D UV tool, this looks red and you think, oh, it's the wrong way around. But what this does is now every individual UV shell has its own color. So if I come back and left click on that, it will go back to blue and red. Right click will do that. So you got the different options. So we've got those two front plates done. And now we've got the top, bottom and sides. You could just have this as one trim. But I think what I want to do, and I think I've got an additional edge in there that I don't need. Yeah. Oh, it's a slight bevel. I probably don't need it at all whatsoever, but I'm just going to leave it in there. I might try and take it out afterwards. But I'm going to take, say, this edge maybe. So I'll go into my 3D UV 3D cut and sew tool, and then I'm just going to cut it here because I want to cut the top off from the sides, I think. And I might do the same with the bottom. Like so, or follow the cut line there, may be a better option. And then here, if I control double click, it will sew it back together. So I can move that cut because I've changed my mind. So control, double click, and then double click there to change it. So it's there. So then the seam, if we do see it, it's there, all the cuts are sort of more uniform, if you like, as we go through. And then that is basically just UV shell over here. Separated these four, top, bottom and sides out. So then this one, I want to do my planar map again, but this time left doesn't work, right doesn't work. So I middle mouse click and it does it from above, which is really quite useful. So I've got this here, and then I'm just going to hit unfold. Oh no, because I just did unfold with faces, it does everything. So make sure that you just do the UVs and then unfold. And then that's kind of worked, doesn't it? But that's okay. Shrank it down, but I'm fine. UVs, and then I'm just going to middle mouse. Yep, let's just go back into this mode. UVs and planar map on faces first, sorry, and planar. Move this out of the way for a moment. I'm going to flip it and then unfold it. I did it on faces again. Fold. And then this one, I'll do both of these together. And then I will planar left Yep. And then one UV shell, I'll move one over because one will be the wrong way around, so I'll flip it. And then these ones, I actually can just go unfold along the V, the vertical, because that's just the side. And oh, there is side plates to it there, so we can just unfold. There we go. Or then I'll do unfold along the U, and that pulls those side bits out as well. So then that is the main body UV'd. So I'm just going to kind of loosely put these over to one side for a moment and out the way while we work on the other bits. So the next thing is, well, I may as well do this. It's going to be easy. Just a middle mouse click to plane our map and it's done. Happy days. Move that out the way. And then let's work on the dials. So let's get this one first. And this should be relatively straightforward. So you see it's already got us cuts in where we want it, to be fair. We cut the top off and cut the side off. So that's okay, but it's still got the old geometry on it. So I'm just going to middle mouse click to planar map it, which then gives us that geometry. And then I'm going to take this and shift right click and unfold along the U, and then that will unfold that out for us. So then that is that dial done. And I could either duplicate that dial, or it's only going to take probably about the same amount of time just to do this anyway. So I will select those faces, and then I will middle mouse click to planar map, select those UVs, and then fold along the U. So barely takes me any time for those items. Move those down, and we'll sort those out in a moment. Then we've got all like these elements. So everything in your scene must be UV'd. So then we've got this, and this, I think what I'm just going to do is take the UVs, or take the faces first. And I'll do both of these together, I think. Control my camera. Okay, it seems that they're both in the same place. I don't know. Faces, yeah. And then I will middle mouse click on planar. There we go. And then I'm just going to grab my UVs and just unfold. There we go. So then we've got those rings done. Yeah, I'm a little concerned actually that there's low poly. Right, I'll have to come and I'll keep an eye out on this because this low poly is hovering a bit. Hang on. I feel like this I'm missing something here. Right, so that's the right there, but that's sort of sitting off. That's going to be a float. So actually I don't need those. That can just bake in, I think. So I might just delete those altogether and let those bake in for my low poly. This one, F on the keyboard, and then I'm just going to take that, or come in, UV, 3D cut, take that, take that. And then face, middle on the planar. Okay, I'll cut this afterwards, but I want to just left click on the planar and then take one edge and cut. and take the UVs and then fold along the U. And I'm going to worry about scale and stuff afterwards. I'm going to move that out of the way. So do the same. Edge 1, 2, 3, and cut. Although I should do that afterwards. Let's just see it. Let's just do an unfold. Nah, see, it didn't necessarily work. So faces and then planar from middle mouse, and then I'm going to take these edges or faces and do a left click planar, and then take one edge and shift right click cut. Then take my UVs and then unfold along the U. And we have that. Move that out of the way. And we've got these buttons, so I'm going to try and just 4 little planar. Sorry, cut tool, edge. So that's just going to be annoying. So what I'll do is just select the faces of these. Maybe I'll do those ones as well. To edge perimeter. And then cut them from there. And then I can move those faces out, he says. Or UV shell. Let's do it that way. There we go. So move the UV shells out the way, then these are the edgings. So then I'm going to go to face, faces, select all of those, then just do a left click. And then take one edge from each and set the back corner edge, which is probably what I should have done. Anyway, and that's already got a cut, which concerns me a little bit. That shouldn't be like so. And I'm going to cut and fold along U. Yeah, so that's causing some issues with these faces. So I need to figure out what's going on with this. So first of all, I'm just going to grab everything, vertices, merge and merge, 91 to 41. Okay, I think I did have two faces sitting over each other or something. So that indication was that it wasn't working as I would expect to work within the UVs. Let's just try and UV these again. Planar. Faces. It's still got those cuts. Right, okay, so I'm going to just control on one, isolate this, and just have a closer look. Let's go faces. 2 tries, 2 faces, vertices, 1. Average first, faces, face. Vertex face. That normally will show any kind of issues as well. can't see any. I'll go to mesh cleanup. Option box. Four-sided fascias. Okay, so fascia. But this is just highlighting any issues that I have. And it doesn't appear as though I've got any issues. So again, a little bit confused why this. I see that worked. If I click make UV shell, do it that way, and then I'm going to cut that back corner. Okay, I don't know. So let's go straighten the shell. Hey, that was time it worked. Faces, and I will just middle mouse get the planar map of that. Bring these back. Okay, so now we've got this guy. Sorry, funny. That. Hang on a minute. So dodgy UVs vertices hanging around, so that's why these verts have stuck in place. So you'll find that if there's something wrong with your mesh, then UVing becomes very difficult. There we go. And that's what I would expect to see. And then at the moment, see, that is obviously like huge in comparison. So what I'll do is go into my UV toolkit. I'm just going to select this little panel button thing here, and I'm going to hit get, and then I'll hit set, and then that'll count size. And then it is proportionate to itself. Shift that over. Okay, so we've done that one. There's these little buggy things that can really mess you up. You need to know the kind of process, I suppose, of problem solving those things. So I've got this one. One's done. That one's not. Oh, that one is done. And that one's done. So I just need to set that a bit more easier to read. So that one's done. That one's done. That one's not done. That one is done. So this one, and I'm just going to duplicate this guy. Duplicate. -1. bring that to there, and then I will just freeze my transformations, push that forward, delete you, and bring that back. And then I will delete this. So now all of those should be UV'd. Where are you? Yep, they are. And that should be UV'd, and that should be UV'd. Fantastic. So next is this. Okay, so again, I'm going to get 3D cut tool out and start thinking I will definitely want to cut it here. But you see, it's only going twice because of the way in which we've modified the edge loops and the mesh. So there's not an issue here as such because it's got the triangles in, so it doesn't know where to go. But it takes a little bit longer to select these edges, but eventually, or I suppose it's okay because it's just keeping it all down. So I'm going to cut those off. And then I may cut here because I think that will unfold reasonably well. And then I might come to the side where it's less likely to be seen and take that edge and cut up there as well. So now we've got that. Select my UVs and yeah, just give it a go. Let's just go to unfold. And it's not done a bad job. Apart from that, I think is definitely not great. So we'll just come in and do it manually. Generally, manual UVs will always turn out better because you've got the control. Where are all those wings? I'm going to figure that out. Okay, so that's that. So this one, I want to planar map, so middle mouse. Move that out of the way for a moment. What are you? Okay, that's that. So I am going to planar map with a left click. Select corresponding edge, shift right click and cut. UVs and unfold along the U. Shove that on there for now. And what are you? Double click and then hit F. I like to sort of do that. So that's U down the bottom. So I will again, I'm just going to do a planar map, left click, take that edge, cut it, UVs, and then I'm going to unfold along the U, and then I am going to unfold as well on the V, because that just needs to stretch out that little bit. I'm just going to put that in there. And then that is this guy in the middle. So I'm going to again select my faces, left click, and this isn't going to unfold as nice. I know that. But we'll have a go. It's only going to be chrome, so it's not the end of the world. And then I'm going to unfold on U, just like so. Then I will unfold along the V, which will curve it, which makes it better, but then it's harder to texture. So it's a balance with a shape like this. And if I was to unfold it, it will like span it out, and that's going to give me the best UVs. But what I will do actually is cut that off. Because then this that should actually unfold nice and straight. So I will just select those faces and then just do a planar. Oops. Cut UVs unfold along the U, and then the V. So move you down, and then this fan. Oops. It's not ideal, but I'll go with it. Oops. That would work. So I'm going to have that as the fan because it's going to be less stretching. And then I'm going to come in, face what are you? F. Okay, so that's this on the bottom. So I may be able to do these, shift right click, unfold along the U. Go. You can come down to the bottom. There. Top. So you want to keep it in relative order. You are. That's the top. So I'm going to just get faces. And just do a middle mask planar, top one. And that's that. That's the aerial done for now. And then I'm just going to move you out of the way. I'm going to pack it all afterwards. And then it's just the strap to go. So almost there. So let's just select this guy, and I'm just going to go on mouse, play with me. Hit Control 1 to isolate. I'm going to separate this guy out first. I'm going to go with you and just do a middle mouse click for a planar map on this guy. Move you up for a moment. And then what I'm going to do is come around the back, take that edge, and cut that edge. Oops, cut. Get my UVs. Unfold one. Unfold along the U first. No, didn't like that. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, for now, what I'm going to do is cut off both sides. So then I've got this separate, and then I'm going to UV. Hang on, what's going on? Why are you playing UVs? Unfold, there we go, along the U. Then that's done it as I would expect. Same with the inner side. And then I'm going to do it in the V. Stretch out those. So, and then what I want to do is just hit get. It's like that. Set, so then it should scale. And then I want to take these edges, so one, which corresponds to that edge, so this needs to flip around. And double click, so edges, and double click, so one, and then double click there. So they're all the same edges. So I'm going to just go move and sew. And then I'm going to just unfold that again. U and V. And there is the strap. Done. Which then just leaves us with these wonderful things. And how am I going to do this? So let's just center around this F, frame it, and then I'm going to get my 3D cut tool. And I think I am going to definitely cut the corner there and there. think I'm going to get there, but not that one. And do an individual one. So I double clicked, which does that, and then I'm going to click and drag to stitch that back up, because I don't want that one. Just want that to kind of be able to fold out, and then I will need to I'm going to cut that and that. That will be some stretching there, but you're not going to see it. And then here, I might just take all of that trim off actually. So I'm going to slight change of plan. Get Q, get my face, and then I'm going to hit tab and just select all of this. Like so. And then shift right click and to UV shell. Where's my faces? I just want those faces. That's all I want. Shift right click, create UV shell. That's all I want. Shift right click, create UV shell. So then that is off. And then I'm going to just do a left planar. Oops. All of those faces. Left planar or right planar. Yep. And then I'm going to just select my UVs and unfold along the V on this one, the vertical, because of the direction it was. And then I'm just going to do that. So we've got that there. And then I'm going to take that, and then I'm just going to do a left planar. So then we've got that. And then what I'm going to do, I think, if I take those edges, so that's all of those inside edges. I'm going to take those edges and then shift right click and cut them all. And then I'm going to project them first of all. I'm just going to do I'm going to select all those faces first, and then I will do a tool, modify and unitize, which turns them all into perfect squares. Then I'm going to just unfold them, which then should set them all at the right kind of, UV shells, and then can I just unfold from there? That's going to change everything. Let's just take you out of the way. Take my UVs, shrink them down a bit first. It's gone a bit crazy. Some of these are triangles, aren't they? Why? Doesn't quite work. Is that planning? But hey, what's you doing there? For a start, vertex. So this is it. When you UV, you start to sort of realize as well that you've got errors in your mesh. And UVing becomes so much harder when you have errors in your mesh, because things don't work the way in which you expect them to. So having done that, I now should be able to unfold on the V, for the most part, and unfold along the U. And those are those troublesome faces, so I'm going to leave those for now. And then I'm going to take all these edges here. First of all, I need to get this UV shell. I'm going to hit get and get these UVs and then hit set. And that will shrink them all down. Then I'm going to take this edge to this edge and this edge to that edge and then go move and sew. And then it attaches all of those to there nicely. Move and sew, and then I can come in and get my sew tool, which is, where are you, cut and sew, and then I can do to sew tool, and then I can just literally paint over that and it sews those edges together nicely for me. And then the issue is now these sections here. So I can still move and sew, but then they're all overlapping. But we're really not going to see them, so I'm not going to worry too much. So I'm just going to sew it together anyway, like so, and then just UV manually kind of fix this. So, and this is where you can kind of come in and you've got your tools here. To help just fix it. Sort of thing. So let's just go to that side. And again, I'm not overly worried about this section. It's so small. Move that out a bit. And then that's got rid of those, but then you've still got these edges, these things going on here. What are you? Which is are you these guys? Move and sew. Yep. I'm going to leave those cut. And these guys, which are okay, on those bits there. So I will again just move and sew. Move and sew. Sew those together. I just hit G to repeat my last action. And then just come in and clean this up a little bit. Again, I'm not overly fussed. The UVs are going to be stretched here, but it's a minor detail. You know, you're not really going to get in there that consistency. But still, I want it to be somewhat presentable. Okay, so we've got that. And these guys. Okay, that's good. They can just go there. So UV shells, those two, and I'm going to just set that as well. Make sure they're the right size, and I'm going to just move and sew them on the ends. Sometimes it's easier just to work like that. So that is now UV'd. Where are you? What are you? What are you? You're that guy. Okay. That guy. Okay, so that's the one that I haven't done. I don't really want to do that again, so I will separate. Take this one, duplicate, and center my pivot. We'll just move my pivot point up. There. Mirror it, a -1. Snap it into place. Freeze transformations, move it out of the way, delete the dodgy one, the one that's not UV'd, and then move it back. And then we are done. I think we are completely done now for the UVs. So I'm just going to combine this again for a moment, and then I'm going to delete my history, freeze transformations, bring everything back. And now everything is UV'd, but the issue is it's scattered all over the place. And there's a couple of things here which I think perhaps I've missed, but we'll figure those out in just a moment. So now it's about fitting everything into this one square. So let's get started. But first of all, what are you guys? Let's have a look. Faces. F. Okay, it's the trim, of course. And what are you? Okay, the bottom trim. And you that as well. Yeah, okay. So that's fine. That should be relatively straightforward. So I'm going to select you. And, pardon me, I'm just going to do a planar, but from above. And then select my UVs. Unfold along the V, unfold along the U. Move you up and out the way. And fold along the V, and fold along the U. Faces, and I will do another one, middle click, planar from above. Ooh, no, faces, middle click, there we go. Move you down a little. I can grab the arrow so I can see which ones I'm working on. UVs, unfold along the U, fold along the V, and again. So now everything is done. So I'm going to select, so let's just get the main body, which is this guy, and bring this down and try and straighten him out a little. I'm going to shrink him down so it's taking up, say, that much for now. I'm going to select him and then hit get, and then select everything and hit set. And then it's all scattered all over, which is really, really bad. Now I may just go to arrange layout. Now I can just do a automatic layout. So where is it? Gather shelves. Can I just do that? Gather shelves. And it just stacks them all together like that, which is a bit annoying. I can do a layout, and then it will stack it as the best as it can figure out, which is okay, but then everything kind of goes off and you don't know where things are. So what I'll do is just might do that for now, just because I want to sort of figure out where things are. And then I'm going to take these elements and I want to just come up. So I've got this and I want to just rotate these around. And I want to make sure as well that I've got them the right way around. So for example, if I take that face, so that's the bottom, that's the wrong way. So I need to just flip that back, edge. So again, that's the wrong way. So let's do it. And then that is also the wrong way. So I've got that there. So, and I kind of want them to resemble where they are as well. If that makes sense. And then, so where's that? So that is here. And that's the right way. So I'm just going to kind of get them lined up kind of as to where they would be in reality, and then go from there. So let's just restack, and I want to leave a little bit of padding in between each one to allow for any kind of like bleed and that kind of stuff. Like so. And I just want to make sure as well that I've got this, that everything is still maintained to the same scale. So I'm just going to hit set. Yeah, so I think it resized some of them slightly to fit, but that's okay. And then that is the strap. So that can come in, and then these are the trims. So yeah, I can just pull that across there. That's the spacing's all right there. Just want to pull that a bit closer in. Pull that in. And then these are the sides. So let's just bring the sides over here for a moment. Maybe have them both down there. So I'm kind of trying to kind of group them sort of similar to like material and what they are and where they kind of are in relation to everything else. So that is the dial. Now I want this to be definitely this way because it would just be easier for me to texture. And I want to make sure that I've got the top edge on the top, which I have. So then that, I think, can come up to the top. That is behind there. So what face is that? It's there. So UV shell and rotate that way. That can go in there. Now this could be reduced in size because it's not necessarily going to be seen that clearly. But if it fits in, then we don't need to worry too much about that. And then, okay, what are you? Okay, so this is the dial, and that's the other dial. And then those are the tops for it. So I want to make sure that I'm grouping things properly. And then we know that that bevel is on that edge. So I want to make sure that I rotate these the right way, but also get the right dial kind of with them. I suppose it doesn't necessarily matter as such. And then just find somewhere for them to go so they can just fit quite comfortably inside there. And then let's just bring this stuff over. So you are this, and you may find that we can get away with just enlarging some of this detail. Because it's so small, it may not necessarily work properly. Edge, so it may look better, so that's down. So I want to make sure I get this and then rotate 1, 2. So, but we'll just get it all in first and then look at rotating the dials or enlarging the dials in terms of their UV size. So I can fit that in here as well for now. I am going to want to resize this, so I'm going to put that there because I'm going to make it bigger. And what are you? Okay, so this is the antenna. That's the antenna top. It's that button, so I don't need to worry about that at the moment. I just want to focus on this. Then I know that that is the antenna, which I want to rotate this way. And then we've got that. yeah, I want to keep things really as close as possible. And then, to be fair, actually, I can take this and sew this together. That'll be fine. To be where is that? Okay, so then we start to just lay things out in a kind of organized fashion, but that are relative to themselves. So those, I think, are the other, so those are the trims on the bottom. So let's just move this over a bit so that I can take these, put them next to the others in there. And what are you? Okay, so those are the buttons. And I can see the other buttons here. I'll just move those there for a moment. And then you, where are you? Okay, so that one's already done. That was already in place. That one is there. And that's the face. So I do want to take these and just rotate them. And then I do want to rotate these as well. And I'm going to lay them out in the same fashion that they are. Yeah. Where are you? Okay. And then I might just move that button as well. So it's all together and all relatively neat and organized. And we've got quite a lot of space that's going to be left over. And what are you? That's the antenna as well. So you can come up here. Rotate. So there we got everything we have. Terrible English. Everything in here. Now what I will do is start just to expand these so they have a little bit more clarity and just make a bit better use of the space, I think. And I'll take these as well. Let's just do them all to the same sort of size. And then try and rework these in. Right, never mind. Let's just kind of expand these a little bit more. So quite often if you stick with everything that's the same size, it's fine, and it's sort of the texture density is good. But with some of the smaller assets, then they don't have enough space. So in order to kind of combat that, you can on the smaller things just increase them so that they get a better texture resolution. And then I'm just going to kind of try and rework this a little bit so that I've got more room. Even still, there's loads and loads of room with this. That's wasted. So I could get away with more, but I'm going to leave it here for now because you get the idea. And then maybe these will just that'll do. It's fine. There is wasted space on that, and then I want to make sure that it's in the 0 to 1, which is here. So and I may it's fine, that'll do. And that, yeah, I'll see. I may come back and reevaluate my UVs, but for now, I'm just going to call that done for the UVs. I could get away with a bit more space, but I'm sure, I hope it will be okay and fine. Thank you. And next, we'll move on to baking.